Hello and thank you for tuning in to mrchoi.com.au. Today's topic is 212 degrees. What does that mean? Glad you asked. Okay, here we go. So I'll start off with a story, or how it all works, why. This is something to anchor to. So 212 degrees is something to remind you, something to anchor you to in life, in work, in real estate. So you've got a steam train, runs by boiling water. It takes 212 degrees for the water to be boiling at that temperature before it produces the steam that will run this heavy train. 210 degrees won't cut it. 200 degrees won't cut it. It must be 212 degrees. And I think a lot of the time in real estate, we're giving it 210 degrees. We're giving it 200 degrees and wondering, why aren't I getting anywhere? Why isn't this massive, heavy, long train not moving? Because you're not giving it 212 degrees. Lukewarm does not cut it in real estate. Lukewarm just doesn't cut it. You need to be all in, 100% all in, 212 degrees, not a degree less. And when you're at that boiling temperature, will that train move? And once it's moving, it is hard to stop. Okay? So I really want you to anchor to that. And part of having 212 degrees is what I'm about to talk about here. Not having plan B. I think in life, when we have options, it's not only depressing to have options because you're unhappy because you know what else is possible, but you take plan B. If there is a plan B, you will take it, or you know that you can take it. And if you know that you can take it, you don't have to give it 100%. You don't have to give it 212 degrees. Because you know if it doesn't work, you've got plan B to fall on. And it's extremely dangerous. Extremely dangerous to have plan B, because if you have plan B, chances are you're a human being, you will probably use it. Plan B provides confusion. Do I stick with plan A and keep going and going and going? While there's thoughts in your mind, be careful what you're telling yourself, right? Because, you know, everything you tell yourself, you can hear. So be careful. There's this little thought in your mind that pops up maybe every day, once a week, once a month. Is plan A working? If it doesn't work, maybe I can do plan B. And that's confusing you. It's wasting your time, energy, and headspace when you can just be focusing on giving 212 degrees, 100% to your career, to your life. There's this story, Burn the Ships. It's pretty well known. I won't go through the whole story, but I'll give a real summation of it, or summary of it, I should say. Famous conqueror. We don't have really conquerors anymore, and it sounds quite evil for this day and age, but conqueror Hernando Cortez went to get the world's most richest treasure, artifacts, gold, silver, you name it. This place was famous for having all the treasure, and it was protected by this army for years and generations and generations and generations. And armies would continuously try and take over and win and steal this treasure from this army, but no one could do it for years, hundreds of years. No one could conquer the army that was protecting the world's largest, richest, wealthiest, most valuable treasures. Hernando Cortez had 500 soldiers, 11 ships. They're at the bank. They're sitting there. He's hyping them up. He's talking about them having a legacy. He's talking about what it's going to mean to them when they get this treasure, what it's going to do to their family's life, what it's going to do for generations and generations and generations of these soldiers' families, and how it's going to break cycles of poverty, and just looking at the real big picture. Then he decided that he was going to order them to burn the ships. There was 11 ships and they were burnt. And the soldier said, how are we going to get home? And Hernando Cortez, the conqueror, their leader, said, we're going to take their ships. If we're going to go home, we're going to use their ships. They had no plan B. They had to win. Because if they didn't win, they were going to die. They had to win to get the treasure, to get the other opponent's ships so they could go home. And that is why they won. And they got the most wealthiest, largest treasure on the planet. So a little story for me that coincides with this is chin-ups this week. My PT was getting me to do chin-ups, you know, working out, and there was a bar that was here and a bar that was here. The higher bar I had to jump to grab, the lower bar I could just grab and do chin-ups. So the lower bar, my feet can touch the ground on tippy toes, right? My feet can touch the ground. And we worked out that I do more chin-ups on the higher bar than I do on the lower bar, because when I've got the lower bar, I know my feet can touch the ground and I just take it. It's my plan B. The ground is my plan B. So we decided, no, jump and hang. If you can't do the chin-up, you hang and you rest a few more seconds and then you do the chin-up, rather than hanging on the lower bar. Because I'm hanging, I'm touching the ground, and I take plan B, I'm taking the ground. So we took plan B away from me, and I only had to hang, and I was able to do more chin-ups. So just a little relation to those things. So I like to talk about on the edge of the cliff. I don't know if you've ever stood on a cliff, maybe on the edge of a pier, maybe you've jumped off your house when you were younger. You know, I used to do that as a kid. Like, I don't know how I didn't break any bones. But there's been quite a few times in my life where I remember being on the edge of the cliff and jumping into the deep water. And I'm standing there and I'm petrified. People are watching me and I've got this fake smile on my face going, this is sorted, I've got this covered. And I'm not. And I'm standing there petrified and I'm scared. But I think life, success, business, real estate, a lot of it is about just launching, jumping off that cliff, because it's scary being up there. It's probably, that's the most scariest moment. But the moment you take off and the cliff is there and you can't go back, there's a sense of release. There's a sense of freedom. There's a sense of, I can't do anything about it, so let's just enjoy it. And yes, it's still fearful. Yes, it's still scary when you fall into the water. But there's this rush, there's this excitement, there's this energy. And there has never been a time where I've hit the water, come back up and not smiled. You get back up and you're swimming, you know, you're treading water, and you've got this smile on your face that you can't take off. Let's do that again. Yeah, that was awesome, right? And I think life is a lot about that. Sometimes we're on the edge of the cliff and we just need to jump and not have a plan B. We can't grab onto the edge of the cliff and just fly and enjoy the journey. I think the most dangerous words that we could say in our real estate career is, if real estate doesn't work. The most dangerous words we could say. It's probably an exaggeration. It's not the most dangerous words, but these are really words. This is a sentence that isn't good for your career. Let's put it that way, all right? I don't want to exaggerate. But if real estate doesn't work, I will. If real estate doesn't work, then. If real estate doesn't work, plan B. Don't say this. Not cool. When you're talking to yourself like this, when you're talking to others like this, then you will take that plan B. You need to burn your ships. Take the floor away. Jump off the cliff. Have no plan B. And I can tell you what, when you have no plan B, you've got no other option but to stay on track. You might be running, you might be flying, you might be crawling, you might be rolling. But if you're on track and you keep going, it is impossible not to succeed. Impossible. So keep going. I encourage you, take plan B away. 212 degrees, not 210. Take care.